Okay, so I have to do this video. I keep saying that I'm going to do a script, but I just can't be myself if I do that. And this is an exciting story. So I am starting this series called The Gates of Wisdom, or Gates of Wisdom. In Gates we trust. I'm not going to go into why Gates. That's not necessary. Go watch my other videos. But anyway, so I'm just using the series to kind of like go through like 10 or 12 of like my very favorite, like I live by these are law quotes of Kevin Gates. Just because like there's just so much wisdom in it, and if you just can adopt it into your life, it will make it better. But that's beside the point. I'm gonna save that for my intro of my series. But anyways, so this quote that I'm about to give is probably number 2 top favorite. I literally live by this one. I mean, I live my life on this one. So you would think that I would want to make a video talking about how this quote has impacted my life, and I could definitely do that. I could make a freaking whole series just on that, a whole course. But I don't know, it just like this video is for when someone else grasps onto the truth of Kevin Gates. So, I'm trying to figure out when to put in the quote. I'll wait. So, me and Alex have been together for probably a year now, and why did I say probably? Andrew, cut this part out. Okay, so me and Alex have been together for almost a year now, and so throughout the course of our relationship, any relationship that I get in, like, my love for Kevin Gates will not be dimmed. Like, I will not hide from any man that I'm with the fact that I am obsessively in love with Kevin Gates. I don't hide it. I'm not gonna hide it. Don't you dare talk shit about Kevin around me. That's not just for boyfriends, that's for anybody in life. Do not talk shit about him around me. It's not gonna be good if you do. So I'm just like, I'm very adamant about that. And like, you know, me and Alex have this thing where, of course, you know, he learns some quotes along the way because they're ones that I live by, and like he already knows, like Gates's law, like we established that. I mean, to the point now where if I bring up a quote that suits the situation, I'll say, well, you know Gates's law, and he'll say, oh, big facts. You know, like he agrees, already knows what's up. Like that's just how it is. So, there's this quote, and Kevin says it at the end of one of his songs. And any quotes that I reference, I'll put the song that it's from, or some of them are from interviews, and I'll try to tag those or whatever. I'll try to give y'all like the actual like original form of this if at all possible. But my second favorite Kevin Gates song, this quote is at the end of it, and he says, don't never go looking for yourself inside of somebody else. And then he says, because some of these people out here ain't really cut like we cut. And then he goes on and says some other stuff, but the main thing is don't never go looking for yourself inside of somebody else. And it doesn't mean what most people would probably think it means, as in like don't try to find your identity, or you know, don't look for someone else to tell you who you are, which don't do that either. But that's not what he means by this quote. What he means is don't expect other people to operate the way that you do. Don't expect other people to have the same heart as you, the same soul as you, to handle a situation the same way that you would. You know, to have the same soul as you, the same morals, the same values, the same loyalty, the same honesty, you know, like whatever it is, like whatever core values that make you cut like that, you know what I'm saying? Cut from a bandana, like you cannot expect to find that in someone else. I mean, you know, sometimes you'll come across someone, you know, or a couple people that are your people that, sorry, I thought I heard something. So you'll like come across, you know, people here and there that might share some of your same, you know, core traits or values, but the chances of finding someone to really just be like you, operate like you, and, you know, stand on business like you, like, you're just not really going to find that. And it just, it causes disappointment when, if you've ever been in a situation where you think to yourself, like after something happens and you're like, I would have never did that to them. And like, I know y'all can relate. I feel like everybody can relate to that in some way. If you've ever been, or when you have been in a situation like that, that is textbook. Don't go looking for yourself inside of someone else. Like, it's literally that. Like, I would have never done that to him. And you're hurt because like, that's something that's a line you never would have crossed. That's, you know, a type of harm you never would have caused, you know, and you just expect other people to be that way, and they're not. So anyways, that's the formal definition, I guess. And so like with me and Alex, like he knows the quote by heart. Like sometimes I'll leave it open-ended and make him, you know, like finish the sentence, and I'll be like, don't never go looking for yourself. And I'll stop and I'll make him finish, and he'll finish and he'll say inside somebody else. And like sometimes you can tell he gets annoyed, but I don't care. So he knows the quote. And a lot of times I use it on him. Like we'll get in a fight and something will come up, and I'll just be like, don't never go looking for yourself inside of somebody else, you know, because it'll be a situation where that applies. And he'll get aggravated, and he's like, why are you saying that? Like, what the fuck? Like, why are you saying that now? And like, he don't like it, you know, which, I mean, I get it. Nobody likes getting called out. So anyways, so Alex has been going through this situation where he is being denied earned commission at his job. Like he has this very natural ability for sales. Like he kills it. Like his Riz is on 10, and he can sell water to a well, seriously. And so he's been signing these contracts with this roofing company, and they have been refusing to pay him and giving him, you know, a bunch of bullshit excuses along the way for why he's not being paid. You know, like moving the goalpost. Oh, well, you haven't done this yet, so that's why you haven't got your check. Or, oh, you need this now, or you have to accomplish this to get it. And it just keeps changing and changing and changing. And it's just been this constant battle of him trying to get paid. And so now we're at the point where I'm kind of like taking things to the extreme in the means of like trying to get him his money. And I'm not going to go into that because that's not important here. But for a while he resisted like us taking the actions that we had to take, or are having to take, in order to resolve this and get him what he's owed. And he's been resisting it, and he's had this like, still kept this loyalty towards his boss or whatever, you know, like thinking that, you know, because his boss pretended to be kind, that he was, and his boss would guilt trip him and all this other stuff. And because he did help Alex, but it was never in the terms of, it was never genuine. It was a form of manipulation. It was a way of him being in control, and he just manipulated Alex with it. But Alex felt this, you know, loyalty, almost like an indebtedness, because he felt like this person had helped him genuinely, and he felt like being disloyal to him or viewing him in a bad light was him not being appreciative or, kind of like, you know, spitting in his face after him helping him because he didn't see the manipulation. So me and him went back and forth, and it was like such a struggle to get him to try to like come to this understanding of like, he's not being kind, like he's using you, he's manipulating you. And Alex he was resisting this. Okay, I'll just say we're having to take a legal route here to get his money. And he kept saying, well, I just want to do it the employee way. I want to do it the employee way. Well, what he means by that is to go and formally ask for his money and present the facts and all this other stuff and like handle it that way. And they're not going to give him his money. Like, being nice, being kind, being professional has not worked up until this point, and it's not going to work. And I'm just trying to get him to see that, like, we have to take these measures now to do what needs to be done, because they're not going to give you your money, and no type of employee asking or employee request is going to get it for you. And this is where I said to him, I said, you know, you were looking for yourself inside of Bob and Zeke, which is the names of the people that are screwing him over. And I was like, you know, you expected them to have the same heart as you, to have a good heart, and, you know, to pay someone what they're rightfully owed, and, you know, to give someone what they've earned for their hard work. You know, you wouldn't like be dishonest and not give someone their money that they had earned. You know, like, you were expecting them to be like you were looking for yourself inside of them, thinking that you could go and do the employee way and ask for your money and think that you were going to get somewhere. You're not, because these people aren't like you, and they're not going to operate like you, and that's why you're not getting anywhere. And I explained it like that, and I didn't know if it hit or not. I said it because it fit the situation. And, you know, we just finished our conversation. He didn't really comment that much on it, but then he called back later, and he said, we were talking, and he said, you know, I guess I was looking for myself inside of somebody else. You know, I was expecting him to be like me. And I was like, yo, if I could have jumped up and did a cartwheel. Like, I was just so happy, because it's like, not just that Gates is getting his credit and Alex can finally say, hey, Gates is law, and I've experienced it, but it's just the fact of, like, you know, when you come to a revelation yourself, like, you could hear the same thing 1,000 times and it not hit. And then one day something happens and it's literally an epiphany, and you're like, whoa, holy shit. Like, that's truth, you know, like, that is big facts. And it's just like a revelation to you, you know. And then it's like, when you teach that to someone else, or try to, or you're like drilling this into someone's head for a year, and then it finally, like, the light bulb goes off, and they're like, they get it. Like, you can tell they get it. Like, you know, he went back and thought about what I said, and it hit him, like, that's exactly what happened. And it's just exciting to, like, share wisdom with someone else, and to see it, like, take root in their own life. Because when things like that happen, and, you know, a certain concept, you know, wise concept takes root within you, like, it takes root, and it doesn't come back up. Like, you will live by that forever. Like, it almost permanently changes you, because it does somewhat change your perspective. Like, you handle things differently from there on out. When you change your perspective, that's when miracles happen. Kevin, I'm so not sorry. But so that's just, I don't know, it's just a thing. Like, it's just so exciting for me. And like I said, I can go on and on and on 1,000 times about how that quote has helped me in my life, but I'll have 10 or more other videos to talk about how this has affected me. But I'm just excited because Alex gets it, and so now I can go on saying Kevin is law, and the big facts that he always says after is not going to be a joke anymore, because bruh, you just lived it.